Good evening, everyone. What's up? Ate a satisfying meal. Topped it off the means of desserts, Mr. Hata speaking. Previously, there were several videos, two of which were on TV shows that copied one TV show with the formula. But today's video is going to be on a question that some may have been asking themselves for 2 or 3 years by today. Which rants get the most views? Although many have not asked that, there are probably a few throughout the United States that are wondering which rants get the most views and why. More on why these rants get the most views, because there are possibly over 100 rant topics, yet only a small percent of these subject matters get the views on YouTube, and even those topics get less and less views than they used to from before 2012. Many well-known rant topics include school, classes, fast food, movies, go animate, other topics that are difficult to remember because they have not been seen for months. But the few rants that get the most views are the Cartoon Network rants, Nickelodeon rants, Disney rants, SpongeBob rants. Those are the big four that most of the people interested in rant channels, viewers that have one interest in rant channels, watch. Cartoon Network is a big topic because it was immensely popular a decade ago, but went downhill shortly after that decade was over. There have been more Cartoon Network rants than the other rants combined, probably, on YouTube. The Cartoon Network rants started probably, the first one came out in 2007, September 1st, 2007. A few came out in 2008. That was when Cartoon Network was going downhill. That was rather the beginning of Cartoon Network going downhill, although 2007 was the official year that Cartoon Network went downhill. But several YouTube channels were noticing Cartoon Network's downfall in 2008, therefore published several videos on this topic. 2009, the Cartoon Network rants were growing because Cartoon Network got worse compared to 2008. 2010, there were more because Cartoon Network went more downhill. 2011, definitely there was an increase on activity with Cartoon Network rants. 2012 was near the explosion of Cartoon Network rants because Cartoon Network was worse than ever. 2013, that's when the Cartoon Network rants exploded because the Cartoon Network rants have a small fan base, most of which are not known. But the fan base supports the many Cartoon Network rants throughout from the many YouTube channels have a few supporters because this is one of the biggest rant topics on YouTube, and Cartoon Network is known by at least several million inhabitants of the United States. That is why this topic is the biggest topic for rant channels and the biggest TV topic because Cartoon Network was the most popular out of the few channels that were spoken of. Next up, Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was almost as popular as Cartoon Network, but not quite. Nickelodeon rants started maybe 2008. There weren't many. 2009 is when the Nickelodeon rants were gaining popularity. But Nickelodeon might have had a different downfall, is why the rants came a little later. But Nickelodeon's has had enough popularity, and there are enough people getting sick of Nickelodeon's downfall that that's why the rants were created, because more people saw the downfall of Nickelodeon later after Cartoon, 1 or 2 or 3 years after Cartoon Network's downfall. And that's when they started, because Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon had several similarities within the TV show, the backgrounds, and the changes that contributed to the need of rants on YouTube. Disney, there's a fair number of rants on Disney, but there's a few more rants on Nickelodeon than Disney, because Disney has slightly less viewers than those two channels. And the one TV show that's been done to death with the same reasoning for why the TV show must come to an end is SpongeBob SquarePants. The longest running show on Nickelodeon, running for 17 years. The rants on SpongeBob didn't start. There were a few rants on 2009 SpongeBob. Probably 2 or 3. 2010, there might have been more rants on SpongeBob. SpongeBob's downfall for most people was 2005 when the series was revived, but more and more people were noticing the downfall because they were believing that whatever those YouTube channels said about SpongeBob were facts, and they had enough evidence that was supported. But 2011 is when the SpongeBob rants started. There were only a few before then. But that was when more and more people were noticing how SpongeBob went downhill, and they were coming to their senses. And SpongeBob was a big enough TV show that the rants attracted enough viewers to make this topic huge. More and more people were doing SpongeBob rants. By 2012, there were several more. 2013, the rants exploded, with people coming up with the same reasons. 2014 and 15, more rants were posted. And this is probably the only TV show that's still getting rants. There's several other small rant topics that do not get as many rants as this, because they're not as well known as this TV show, nor are there as many people that have seen the negative change. Fairly Odd Parents has almost no rants. Family and Chum Chum has a few, but none recently. The reason why more and more rants came from these topics is because these were the topics that were succeeding on YouTube as of 2012, inspiring others to make their own rants on these TV shows. And that's where most of their views probably came from for their rants. The other rant channels did not become popular enough, therefore did not get views and did not inspire others to create those videos. Which is disappointing, because these are the only 4 topics that have grown in the last several years to have made them YouTube channels that people want to watch. And rants are not most people do not like rants in general, is why most rant topics fail too. Maybe that must be saved for a different video. But these are the 4 rants that have succeeded on YouTube and that have gained supporters for these types of videos. That's all there's to say for this video. See you on the next video. Peace out. Mr. Hata signing off. Good night. Yeah.